Hello Internet, it's time for another update. Today looking at my Columbus subdivision map. Made some progress. I have 95% of the track work laid. I have done the grades and signals, speedboards, junctions, all that kind of stuff done up to Kearney, so there's just a little bit of track laying down to do in the Council Bluffs area. Today I thought we'll just take a view through part of the map that I've been working on from Brady, where the track enters this map, and down to Elm Creek here, where we will take a grain train into the shuttle elevator here at Elm Creek. So here we are, we're with GSKAEC, which is Grain Shuttle from Kalama in Washington State to Elm Creek, the EC in the train symbol. This is leaving my entry point onto the map from the North Platte map. This is we'll follow. We'll go through the work that I've done on this map via this train. We'll follow this train down through what I've done to the Elm Creek shuttle elevator. So this is the entry tracks from North Platte. They're not my normal ones because this is a triple track main. There's not too many places where you'll find a triple track main. It's a very busy piece of railroad, this one. So from here we'll follow this train to its destination. We're just a few miles into the map now, coming up on the town of Brady. It's approximately 20 miles east of North Platte, where this the entry to this map is. So we'll base everything on how far we are from North Platte. So as I've said in previous videos, I'm not much into great amounts of detail, and I just want a representation of the town. So this is the Township of Brady. I have residential houses. I just use a basic cube for the houses. The larger industrial buildings are of the correct size and location, and I do make some features like this walkway over the tracks. There's 3 or 4 of these on these townships on the way up to Kearney. In Kearney I think there is a larger one, but yeah, you'll see these along the track in different forms. And I enjoy making silos and the like, so we'll cover these extra bits as we go along. But basically roads, the industrial buildings and residential, just to give a feeling of the place, not to be super accurate with heavy scenery that will bog it down. As you know or may not know, for me it's all about running trains in an operational manner, so As many trains as I can get on the map is what it's all about. It's a well car with just a container on the top level just to get bridge height. "20 minutes from Brady, and now we're about to pass through Gothenburg. Flashing yellow shows there's a train following us on the middle track. Okay, Gothenburg. Work in progress. So far I only have the streets outlaid. Where there's elevators, silos, etc. on the map, I use these as a default until I get around to making the proper set of silos. I actually enjoy making silos. Actually, these ones at Gothenburg just here they look awesome. They're a really nice set. Can't wait to do them. But right through the map you'll see that I just use these as a filler until such time. Bridges. Not all the bridges have been installed on roadways and the track. Still coming. And here we have the siding, or this branch track is for Frito-Lay, which from what I've seen I believe is potato chips or something like that. So here we are approaching Kozad. Kozad is where are we? 45 miles from east of North Platte. We're about 30 minutes from Brady, where we entered the map. And we will have a look. Again, you can see the silos, just default ones at this stage until I get around to doing it, and residential and industrial buildings. We also have a westbound here. Westbound empty coal train. We've seen this guy before on the Powder River Basin map. What are we? CWLAT, West Labadee to Antelope Mine at the Powder River Basin. ESD40 there is just to fill in until I get my actual UP ones going the way I want, and we'll change them over, even though I don't think they're UP locos. And here we have a couple of cement silos that haven't been made yet, but that's what will be in there eventually. As I've said before, it's not all about high detail, it's just about to give the feel of the Township of Cozad. .59 miles from east of North Platte, and we're passing through Lexington. We're 47 minutes from our entry at Brady, and this is the town of Lexington. We also have a westbound here. Another grain train. This one is GMLNTU, which stands for Grain Meal. Lincoln, Nebraska to Tulloch near Stockton, California. Grain meal will be for feedlots, so I had a look on Google Earth and there is some feedlots around Tulloch. Mix of the longer hoppers and the shorter hoppers, whereas opposed to our train there, which is all the smaller hoppers, 3-bay hoppers rather. And we also have the storage tracks here or the siding tracks here for the ethanol plant. That again will be done with a little bit more detail. Tank cars and hopper cars. Something else I'd like to show you here too is this can get a bit sticky with frame rate. For me, it's all about not so much the scenery, hence the bland grey look, but to me it's all about running more trains. So if I get say 30-40 trains on here and it gets a little bit sticky, I have the option of using my driver commands and decreasing the scenery complexity. So what I'll do is I'll just drop it down to, there we are. I can just clean that away and just have the track and the bare minimum that I need, and just out of that I got a frame rate increase of 30 frame rates a second. So it does make a difference, sometimes more than others, but I can adjust the level. We will just increase it one layer at a time. So we'll go to 2. We just got the basic main road, the overbridges. We'll take it up to scenery layer 3, scenery level 3. That just gives all the large business buildings that are in in the township. Scenery level 4 just puts in all residential houses. I just use a square box as a residential house. I don't want anything any fancier than that. Just gives the impression of lots of residential houses. And the last one, we'll move it right up, which will give us all the streets. Streets tend to be a little resource heavy, as the splines, and splines and trains generally mean a big drain on resources, so wherever possible you try and stay away from splines. So I just use that to help free up and make the most important bit of the operating sessions run more smoothly, and just turning off the scenery. Anyway, back to our train. An hour into our journey, and we're approaching the township of Overton, very close to our destination. Similar format to the previous. It'd be quite good to do some rail fanning from one of these bridges. There's a few videos on the net of rail fanners doing their thing from here. Hope I get a chance one day. It should be quite interesting. Some good shots. As we continue east. And here we are arriving at Elm Creek, the shuttle elevator. This is all an automated process. We're going to pull up and stop, drive to the stop just in front of the lights, even though the light will be green, so we can switch the train into the elevator. It's all done automatically. All the junctions are all switched here. Obviously we'll pull up, the physics will be disabled. We're going to be waiting for 90 seconds or a minute and a half. Junctions will be switched, and then physics will be enabled. It just means that the CPU doesn't have to compute all the physics for these cars, even though they're stationary. It does make a difference. So at least for 90 seconds we won't be computing this. When it's up all around the map, it does make a difference. Junctions we switch will then drive into the plant with where we come to us. We'll actually leave the video finish here about here when the doors open, the drivers leave the train. We won't go through the loading process. This is just to clear the main, position it off the track so those other trains can come through. Perhaps I need to end the doors opening and drivers hopping out to So this is where we'll be heading into. I do like making these silos and elevators and stuff. It's actually quite a good view from Google Earth, and a nice view from street view from over here to get a good view of the elevator and make it up. Excuse me. Here we have a manifest train. It is MPRNP, which is from Proviso Yard in Chicago to North Platte. It'll go over the West Hump at North Platte to be classified there. We also have a flashing yellow here. It's another train on eastbound on the centre track. Here we go, moving through the driver commands. I actually have a variable so I can set the direction for which way I want to run this centre track, either eastbound or westbound. We'll show you that in a later video. Here's some of the other elevators I've made. Near enough, they're not accurate, but from Google Earth, and get the measurements near enough for me. We just want that feel. And here we have another grain train. This one is GBFOBM. It is a grain byproduct, which is DDG, dried distillers grain from the making of ethanol is the byproduct that comes from that and used as cattle feed. So this train has come from Formosa in California. It's an empty and is heading to let me see, Mason City, is it? Yep, Mason City, Iowa, to reload. These are the longer hoppers because DDG is a very low density product, so it more volume than weight. Lots of DDG trains on BNSF and UP. They even go down to Mexico. You'll notice that all the numbers, all the running numbers are the same. I haven't set these ones up properly yet. Next video, you'll see that they've been set up. I think you'll see on the last train the longer hoppers on there didn't have the numbers, which they're set up to take the typed in running number. So I haven't done all of them yet, but we'll have these in the next video, so I'll set them up properly. CNW hopper. I've got a video of an entire unit train of CNW hoppers, only from about 10 years ago, but I haven't seen any of these around lately, so perhaps they're not in service anymore. Again, this is set up for the same layers. We can just be down to the basics, or back to the average eye candy. It'll just change itself. There we go. So the train clears it, and it's brought up a green. This train was running on our Trainz block. I have got it set up so as it runs at 50 kilometers an hour, I think it is, 25 miles an hour. But now it's clear, it'll go back to line speed. Now we're at green. I know Trainz 12 and Tane have the bugs sorted that you can set the speed of trains on a yellow light. Unfortunately, 2010 that I use hasn't got that, so I've had to make a workaround of it. So we have it working not too bad now. I'll explain it all in a future video if you're interested. No, I don't think too many people will be using 2010 these days. Okay, another coal train. An empties from the Cook Terminal at Metropolis. Heading back to, where are we? Heading back to BM. I can't remember what BM is now. Oh, I haven't got my documents. And this one here is the MRDX hoppers. It's, heading to the North Neil plant from Black Thunder. As I said, I'm adding the terrain up to Sioux City, where North Neil and the South Neil power plants are, and it gets added on just past Blair. So I'm going to add a bit of terrain and all the Google Earth overlay maps for that. So this map's not a very big map, so it can easily handle it. A lot of coal trains on this triple track, along with many grain trains in both directions, heading to the Gulf Coast and to the West Coast. Our train, GSKAEC, is loading to go Bummer, which is an export grain terminal, large export grain terminal in the state of Washington. And here we have our train arriving at our destination, clear of the main and ready to load. Disabling the physics, and we'll get rid of the drivers, and that'll do it. Unit grain trains usually have a set time to load, between 15, 18 hours, something like that. They have to load the trains in that time, otherwise they suffer penalties. UP has a certain time to get the train to Kalama, and the grain terminal has a set time to unload or suffer penalties. This way they can offer cheaper rates for these shuttle grain trains. Anyway guys, thanks for looking at my stuff. Hope you found it interesting, and we'll see you in the next one. Cheers.